Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night wherever you are in the world. And welcome back to This and That with Navlet. We are going to look at what is going on in the crypto market again. Today is looking like a good day. It's looking like a very green day today. We've got XLM, which is Stellar Lumens. It's up by 5.8%. What is that? We can click on that bubble and it's currently at 12 cents, or you can call it 13 cents because it's 12 and then you've got an 8 and an 8 behind the 2. So we can call that 13 cents today on Stellar Lumens. We can also go on look on Stellar Lumens on here. Let's see what's happening. This is taking us over to, I don't know why that's doing that. So this is taking us over to the charts on TradingView, and we can see that we have upward movement with green candles. But how about look at I have a better view. There goes that cold again. I'm really apologize. I'm on there already. Okay, so I'm on these different type of candles that show you like what is the consistency within the market. Okay, so you can see we're going back up to try and meet where we were previously, but we've taken quite a big massive fall. If you actually look at these candles, the way they've come down, can you see that? Over time they've come down, because I think Stellar Lumens went up to something like 40 cents, I think, if I can remember rightly. I think it was up to 40 cents last year sometime. And this is the pair is Stellar Lumens and USDT. So that's the pair that we're currently looking at on. Okay, what is happening with Bitcoin? Let's have a look with BTC. Let's go here and have a look what's happening with BTC. BTC today is at 57 pounds. 57 pounds, up 3.1% in the last day, 5.6% in the last week, and 8.2% in the last month, and down 10.6% in the last year. Okay, let's see if we can pick up and show you the chart on that. Let's see where Bitcoin is in dollars, because it's going to show me in dollars over here. I don't know why this TradingView pop-up keeps coming. Probably wants me to join it. Right, so it's currently in dollars, 77,143. Well, it's moving around, right? Currently, as I said, the market goes up and down. As you know, Bitcoin was up at over 100,000 last year. Okay, and as I said, since these bankers have come into the market, things have changed, right? They seem to be manipulating the market in some way. I'll read a report of what is going on in the market and what's affected the market. But it's up at over $77,000 at the moment. And I have watched people saying, Bitcoin is struggling to get above 70,000. Well, it's way above 70,000 now. Okay, so Bitcoin is not dying. Okay, guys, so if you've been told all this rubbish about Bitcoin dying, it's not about to. So I'm going to read, let's look at Ethereum. Ethereum is at 1,000. £782. We can look at that, what that's in dollars. Okay, let's go on to TradingView and show you that. And I don't know, I think this thing wants me to join something. Okay, that is currently $2,409.43. Okay, so we have an up market today. All right, so let me just. Right, so you can actually come here on the crypto bubble. This is what I'm looking at. Right, these things I'm clicking on are just quite easy. These are things that are on here already. I haven't added any of these things. Okay, XRP is currently at $1.08. Well, you could call it 9 cents, 9 pence, not 9 cents, because I'm looking at it in British pounds. It is currently at, let's look at it in dollars. Not going up as much as the other coins. Currently $1.47. Let's call it 47 cents. Okay, it's saying it's probably doing a retrace on that green candle. What am I looking at? I'm looking at the daily candles, guys. So when you see those charts, I'm actually looking at it from a daily perspective. Okay, so let's have a look at what is actually going on in the market and what is actually affecting the market in the way that we have actually seen it. I'll just click that off so you can see the prices of Solana and all of that. But as I said, you can see those prices, but they're actually in pounds. Okay, so if you want to look at it, we're gonna just give you some update about what's going on in the crypto market. Right, so the Bitcoin and the prices. Bitcoin has been stalling below $76,000 with around 450 million in sell orders overhead, capping the rally as derivatives data signals caution. Okay, that information is coming from CoinDesk. BTC has been largely trapped in a $62,500 to $75,000 $25,000 consolidation range for 2 consecutive months, with the 200-day EMAs sitting at $83,000. The key level, analysts say, separates a bear trend from a bull trend. A bear trend meaning the downward market, and a bull trend meaning an upward market. Okay, so they call them bears and bulls. Okay, I think they call the same thing in stock market. I'm not sure. I don't know nothing about the stock market. Okay, basically they're saying a lot of this is being caused by geopolitical driving volatility. I don't really want to read this because it's actually mentioning certain things. And let me see if I can read it without actually mentioning what we're talking about. You should know what we're talking about. I'm talking in code, guys. I'm talking in codes. Geopolitical driving by volatility, which is keeping the market volatile. Okay. It says the dominant storyline has been, you know, what's going on across the globe. I'm not going to say that. Concerns over the, you know, what's happening, which sent shockwave through the crypto markets. Right? As I said, I'm speaking in code, so please pick up on what I'm trying to say. Pick up on what I'm trying to say, okay? What I'm trying to say is what is going on globally, okay? Cannot call any name because the video will be flagged for calling out any names. Okay. So Bitcoin dropped sharply at one point, coming close to $60,000. Yeah, it did do that actually before recovering. More recently, Bitcoin has risen past 76,000. And yes, I've just shown you that, right? It's currently at 77,000, I believe, just over 70, currently at. Right, remember these market, just like the stock market goes up and down on a daily basis. Okay, the crypto market might be slightly more volatile than the stock market. But since the bankers have come in, it seemed to have stabilized. Okay, but seem not to be doing much of a movement, seem to be acting like the stock market. Not that I know anything about the stock market, but the stock market seems to take 10 years to get anywhere. Okay, crypto market usually takes a 4-year cycle. We've lost that 4-year cycle since the bankers and the likes of BlackRock and JP Morgan and all these people coming into the market. Okay, all right, so it's currently at just over $77,000, so it's correct. Right, so it's risen past 76,000. As what is happening internationally, right, has been affecting the prices on a daily basis. All right, so let's come out of that and go back here where you can see the market cap on Bitcoin is still 1.14 trillion, still number one, ranking number one, responsible for like 60%, around 60% of the market, own 60% of the market. So people who are out here telling you that Bitcoin is dying and Bitcoin is gonna go to zero and oh my God, and you should swap out your XRP for Bitcoin. Don't do that. Don't do that. Buy XRP separately. Not financial advice. That is not financial advice. If you want to invest in anything, please speak to your financial advisor, because I'm not a financial advisor. Okay, so it says here, regulations and institutional news. A landmark joint ruling by the SEC and CFTC in March officially categorized major cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum as digital commodities. Did you hear that, guy? As digital commodities, ending years of regulation by enforcement and opening the door for large-scale institutional investment. Additionally, Coinbase was granted a national bank trust charter by the OCC, allowing it to act as a fiduciary for trillions in pension and insurance fund capital. I need to look into that. I don't know if that applied to the UK. I hope it does. Okay, and then it goes on talking about the ETFs on Wall Street. Okay, Goldman Sachs Bitcoin ETF push is being seen as a sign of Wall Street further taming the crypto market, right? So the ETF is a paper-based version, okay, of the crypto market. It actually tracks. So whatever ETF you're buying, it tracks that commodity. So if it's Bitcoin, it will track what's happening and track the price, and it will show the same value, but it is not the actual commodity you have. They own the commodity, you own the paper. Not your keys, not your wallet, not your PIN, not your crypto. Okay, right? So please do try and go and get yourself some real crypto, the real asset, just like you go buy your own gold and your own silver. You know, we used to talk about the gold and the silver, right? Have your own gold and your own silver, right? Have your own crypto. Okay, I have got a book that you can find in this, a link to in the description box below this video, explaining a little bit, giving you a little bit more information about crypto. If you find crypto hard to understand, you can go ahead and support me by buying the book. Right, you can find the link below this video. Okay, so let's go on. And then it says, and Morgan Stanley has debuted its own Bitcoin ETF. So basically, Morgan Stanley's now got an ETF, a Bitcoin ETF. BlackRock has got something called an IBIT or IBIT fund has pulled in $1.5 billion year to date. So you see these things, they keep telling you guys, open your mind, okay, learn about this market. This market is the market of the future. As I said, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but take heed. Look at what is happening in the stock market. Open your eyes and look what is actually happening on YouTube. Why are all the stockbrokers from the stock market now on YouTube? What is going on in the stock market, guys? What is going on in the stock market? Okay, so now about Ethereum. Ethereum has just had its busiest quarter ever, with quarterly transaction hitting 200.4 million in Q1 of 2026, the first time above 200 million. Oh, go Ethereum. Ethereum is doing things. Okay, as I said, the market is back up. So it looked like Ethereum it's been going up for the last few days. Let me see what's happened in Ethereum. In the last day, it's gone up 3.5%. In the last week, 7.2%. In the last month, 9.3%. And in the last year, it's gone up by 49.7%. That's nearly 50%. Okay, so if Ethereum is doing things, you might want to keep your eyes on that. They've also got an ETF, just like Bitcoin. Okay, so, excuse me, with this cold, I'm trying to get rid of this cold. The first time above 200 million. Developers have also launched the first DevNet for the Glamsterdam. I don't know what that is. You might want to look into that. Upgrade focusing on parallelization and a better better layer 2. Okay, so we've got a layer 1, which is Bitcoin. Layer 2 is Ethereum. So they're basically talking about the alternative. Layer 2s and usually the alternative to Bitcoin. Integration to keep fees low. So we're working on basically Ethereum software developers are working on something to lower the cost of moving Ethereum, right? Because when there's a lot of coins that use the Ethereum network, and whenever you have to use the Ethereum network to send coins to your family and friends, and you're using the Ethereum network, it's actually one of the most expensive network, and there's something called slippage as well when using the Ethereum network. Okay, so it looks like they're working on something to lower those costs, which is a very welcome. That's very welcome to me, because boy, this Ethereum network does cost a lot of money. Okay, security concerns. According to this, a fraudulent Ledger Live app on Apple App Store, not on the Google Store, but on the Apple App Store, drained $9.5 million from over 50 victims between April 7th and 13th, stealing Bitcoin, Solana, Tron, and other assets. So basically something going on here with the Apple App Store app. on the Ledger Live. The Ledger Live app on the Apple App Store. Something is going on there. So you might want to query that if you want to be ordering products from Ledger. Ledger is one of the cold hardware wallets where you can actually take your coins off of the platform such as Coinbase, which you should do. But you might want to look into what has gone on here with the Ledger Live app on Apple, on the Apple App Store. It doesn't say anything about Google, the Google Store. This is about Apple. Okay. So it says overall the market is being driven more by macro fundamentals and geopolitical developments than retail speculation. So retail meaning people like the likes of you and me. We're not bankers, so we're called retailers, right? Retail traders, retail investors. Okay, I'm not a trader. Okay, I don't trade. I've tried it. Don't trust me. I've tried it. You lose money. Do not do that. And as I said, not a financial advisor. Get financial advice. Right. With institutional players increasingly taking center stage. Okay, so let me read that again. Overall, the market is being driven more by macro fundamentals and geopolitical developments than retail speculators, with institutional players increasingly taking the center stage. Okay, and that is where I'm going to leave it for today. You can always come here on Crypto Bubble. You can just find this on Google. You just go and type this in on Google. They've also, I believe they have also got this on apps like the Google App Store. They might have it on the Apple Store. I have no idea. I don't use Apple phones. Yeah, you can also download this from there. Okay, and this help you to keep up on what is happening. And again, as I said, I have written a book explaining to you a little bit about crypto. If you're finding it difficult to understand what crypto is, please go ahead and support me in purchasing that book. It's not a long read, it's a very short read. That's where I'm going to leave it for today. Please do not forget to like. Please do not forget to share, because sharing is caring. Please do not forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when I'm uploading again. And comment. I do like to read your comments. Have a blessed day. Mwah!